You just got to fart with it so you get it. Hey guys, well, we're back out in the garage today. We're going to do another job on the 1977 Triumph T140v Bonneville. As you may recall, in one of the previous videos, we did a 7-disc clutch job on this bike, which has made it way better to ride. Just a lot nicer to ride and actuate the clutch. But one of the things that's still driving me a little bit nuts, maybe it's just me, but I find that the clutch lever is miles away for me. The other issue, I've got short hands, as you can see, so even fully extended, it's a long way out there for me. I can do it, and I do it, but not great fun. And you can see I've got the lever adjusted. You can see where the engagement point is for the cable. You can see I've got that adjusted about correct as per the manuals and where you're supposed to have these things. Now I could loosen it off a little bit more, but it would still essentially be the same issue for me. So that's one thing. The other thing is that with the new clutch, it doesn't engage until right at the very end of the throw, so that combination of that engagement point, combined with how far away that lever is really difficult. So one of the things I thought I would do is I thought, you know what, I'll just put an adjustable lever on here. Get an aftermarket adjustable lever that kind of looks about right. But it's really hard to find one that's classic looking. There's lots of super modern ones that look, frankly, very modern. They don't look classic like this. So that's one issue. The other issue is that the cable here has got a very wide lead end on it. It's much wider, it's much wider than what a standard cable is. Now, could you modify that to fit a different lever? Of course you could, but that would require either a new cable or modifying this one. So, anyways, I was racking all this through my head, and I thought, there's got to be a better way. Well, you know what? I found a better way, and I'm going to show you what it is. So let's get after it. Okay, guys, so really what we want to do here is we want to actually go and have the handle sitting out about here somewhere so that we can just grab it easily. That's kind of what I'm looking for, is something like that. Now, of course, if we loosen it off that far, if we can we even loosen it off that far? Get her back here. I'll see how far we can loosen her off. Now, obviously, you can loosen it on the other side. See, that's about where we want it. Loosened right off like that, okay? Wouldn't that be great? But of course, that's just way too, look at that. It's just flopping around, and it's just way too much slack. It frankly wouldn't be safe like that to have it like that. So what are we gonna do about that? Well, let me show you what we're gonna do. What we're going to do is we are going to search in my basket of springs here. Now, I'm sure you guys have a little box of springs like this as well, or something in your workshop. And we're going to hunt around and find one that we can actually stick right in here. Okay, so, and we want one that's the right diameter so that it's actually fits right into here. Okay, so it fits into there, and it also fits into here nicely and doesn't jam up. Now, obviously, you want a compression spring, not a tension spring. Okay, that's kind of what you want. You want the one that can compress. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to hunt around in here, and we're going to see what we can find. Okay, so this is the spring that I've found that I think is going to work best for us, and it is going to fit right in there. Okay, what we're going to do is we'll take the handle off to make this a lot easier. So let's get after that right now. So I've got this a little bit loosened off, I think, so I can just do this. Can I? Oh, no, I don't have it loosened off. Thought I did. Okay. Let's see if we can get this off of here. Okay, guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to wind the spring onto the cable. And if you need more length, you know, all you have to do is just loosen it off down at you know, where it enters the clutch down at the bottom there. So in my case, I've got enough, not a lot of extra here, but I've got enough to do the job that we want to do. Before I put it on there, I know some guys are going to ask, well, what size spring did you use? To be honest with you, it's just a random spring, as I showed you, that I have. You very well could use a different size than this, but to give you an idea of what I'm using, let me see if I can do this so that the camera will pick it up. Hopefully it will. So that if I measure up just before it compresses, it says it is 1 inch and 21/64. What is that in millimeters? Maybe that's a better measure. Let's look at millimeters. It is in millimeters. Call it 32, 33 millimeters, something like that. And in terms of width, I'll try to get this on an edge so we can get the diameter here. In terms of diameter, I'll call it about 7 millimeters, okay? So hopefully that gives you some idea. But that said, I'm sure you could use some other sizes here as well. So all you do once you've figured out what spring you want to use, oh, the other thing I should mention is you want one that's got a fair bit of tension, because really what this is going to do is it's going to push that handle in for us. It's going to actually keep this gap open for us. So you don't want a super light one, but you don't want a ridiculously heavy spring either. I can't really explain that. You're just going to have to experiment. It isn't hard to do this. So if you have to do it a few times to get the right spring, well, no problem. The beauty of this mod, of course, is it's basically a mod for no money if you've got a spring. And if you need to buy a spring, well, it's probably only $1 or $2. So, or for those of you in the UK, £1 or $2, or maybe £1. I don't know. Probably, I don't suppose springs are that expensive. Getting it started is probably the hardest bit. Once you get one end on, just wind it around there. Just wind it around. There we go. So what you want to do is you got to make sure you're winding it the right way. As you can see, I was winding it the wrong way. So just keep winding it. It's a little bit, you know, it is what it is. One of those jobs that's maybe a little bit tedious, but you'll get it. So just keep winding it until you get the thing entirely on. It has to be 100% on the cable. Don't leave it like that, right? That'd be no good. It has to be 1000% onto the cable, or it's not going to actuate correctly. And of course, we don't want anything to bind or be any sort of issues. So no loose ends. You just got to fart with it till you get it. And there we go. Now I've got it, and you can see it's 1000% on there. You see that on both ends. Okay. Now what we can do is grab our lever. Okay, and put our lever on there. So I've got a washer here that I see I didn't take off. That's fine. Can stay there for the moment. So just put our lever. You guys know how these things go on. You got the slot in the back, right? Just pull this forward. Pull this forward, stick it on there, and stick it through like that. And then I'm going to try to hold this so the camera can see it, but you want to see, this is where the diameter of that spring's pretty good. You want that, ideally, that spring to just fall in there, and you can see that one does, okay, on that end. Now on this end, you also want it to fall into here. Okay, I'll put that back where it belongs. You want it to fall into here as well, okay? So it also needs to fall into there. And get in there. And there you go. You see she's in there. Just got to kind of hold it in there until we get this thing bolted up. And then put your pin, or your, I guess it's a machine screw, isn't it? It's not a pin. Get that in there. Nice. Okay. All right, and I'm just going to tighten her up on the bottom here. So just continue on here with the process. I'm probably going to have to grab a wrench here as well to hold that. Okay, I'm going to tighten that up better later before I go for a ride, but just to show you guys, you don't need to see me do up a nut. I'm just going to go in. Now we can adjust it where we want the cable. So now pull it into where you want it. Obviously, I'm going to have to play with it a bit to see exactly where I want it, but I think right about there is pretty good for me. Yeah, that's really great. Look at, I mean, look at that. Remember where this thing was before? And you can see I don't have my hand way out. I've got my, my thumb there. It's about where I had it before. Remember it was way out here somewhere? Remember that? Look at that. And away she goes. It's one of those jobs that you can do for almost no money and is really a huge plus. So anyways, I hope that helps somebody out. And anyways, that's the end of this video. I'm going to take this thing for a ride and just see how well it works. And yeah, if anybody would like to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. As mentioned before, I could really use the subscribers. And also, please do like the video and leave a comment. I reply to every comment. Many of you guys already have left lots of comments, and I really appreciate it. So anyways, guys, have a good one, and enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the ride. Bye for now.